Hello crazy coders, welcome to yet another video series, and in this series we will make a tic tac toe game with PYGAME. In this video we will make a PYGAME window, we will draw the board, and when we click on any of the square we will be able to see the square number. So for example, if I click here it will be 0, it will 1, if I click here, and if I click here it will be 8 because the counting is starting from 0. So without further ado, let's start coding. So I've already created a new Python file and named it main.py. I've already done some code. I've quickly explained through it. The first thing is I have imported PYGAME. I have imported exit from sys, and I have initialized all the things from PYGAME, and I have created some variables which contains the RGBA values in a tuple, okay, and they are named like white, black, red, blue, which we will use in a code. And after that I have created our main screen from pygame.display.set mode by passing tuple of 600 600, which will be the height and the width, okay. And after that I have made screen.fill white RGB. That means I have changed the color from default to white, okay. And in our main while loop I have just added the logic of exit, which is for event in pygame.event.get. We are getting all the events, and then we are checking if the event type is quit, then we are quitting the PYGAME and also exiting the program which we have imported from sys, okay. And also we are updating the display. So this is our normal code for every PYGAME, and if I run this, you will be able to see PYGAME window with a white background. The first thing I want to do is I want to draw a board. We all know that Tic Tac Toe game contains 9 squares, and each square can be inserted as axo the point. And in PYGAME we have concepts called rectangles, and with rectangles it becomes very easy to know the coordinates of the rectangle, and also has it been collided with a point also, that things are possible. So here we will draw 9 rectangles, which are basically squares because both sides have equal length. So let's do that. And to draw, it's very simple. First of all, I will just create a function named board, and the first thing I will do is I will just create a first square from pygame.draw.rect. Here we have to, first thing we have to pass the surface, which is our screen. Second thing, we have to pass a color. For this I will pass the black RGB, and after that what I will do is I will have to pass the coordinates, which will be 0, 0, and also the size of each side, okay. And since both are same, I will pass 200, 200. And also we have to pass the width, because if now I call the function here, and if I run here, if I now run the file, I will be able to see a black square here. But if I will pass a width of 1, then it will be like an outline, okay. Yeah, we are done with the first square. We just have to repeat this 9 times, 2 more times in this row, and 3 times here, 3 times here. So now the point is 0, 0 is here. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this point is 0, 0. And if we are moving here 200 points, then this is 200 at x, and if we are moving it here, this is y at 200. So basically, if we want to draw one more square here, we just have to update our y or x. Here we will update only y, because we'll see now. And now if I run it again, we will be able to see another square starting from here with 200 as a side width and height, okay. Similarly, if I want to draw a square here, we have to select this point, and this point is basically 600, which is 200, 200, 400. So 400 at x and 0 at y. So if I like duplicate it and I will do here 400, then we will be able to see a square again. And this same things I have to repeat in the below. So here we are only updating the x value. So here, like if I run this now, nothing will change because they are drawing on top of each other. But first 3 have drawn like from here, and now I have to draw a square from here. So this point is basically y as zeros, y as like 200 and x is 0. Okay, so x is 0 and y is 200, and these will remain same because they are height and width. If I run it now, here we are the underscore. So similarly, like if I update this 200 again and this 200, now we have our second row ready. Okay, so as you can see, the second row is also ready. Similarly, now if I want to draw a point from here, here, and I have to just update the y, and y is like 200 more now, and I have to repeat the values at x at these points. Okay, so if I just copy and paste it and update like 0, 200, 400 will be same because starting point, but the y has changed now to 400. Okay, now if I save it, we will be able to see board with each rectangle, but it is not good to repeat such stuff. We can actually make a loop out of it. So first thing we have to understand is what is the repeating stuff. As you can see here, 201 is like the same for all. That's good, but here as you can see, the y coordinate is changing by 200 at every third iteration. Like after finishing the first row, it will is it increased by 200, and after finishing the second row, it is increased by 200. That's why it's 400. So that's okay. And the first thing is x coordinate is actually repeating after every third iteration, which is after finishing the first row, it's 0, 200, 400. Again it's 0, 200, 400. So what I'll do is I will create a counter 1 and initialize it 0, counter 2, initialize it with 0 as well, and I will basically run a for loop from I like 9 times because 9 squares we have to draw. And after that, here we are just drawing it a rectangle with screen and black RGB color, and here I want to pass counter into 200, and after that counter 2 into 200, but and 200 comma 200 will remain the same because they are height and width, and this line width will be remaining 1. The counter 1 is 0 and counter 2 is also 0 initially. So for the first time, 0 comma 0, 200, 201, the first is actually correct, and but this I have to update the counter 1 and counter 2 according to this logic. So the first thing is counter 1 is repeating at every third interval. So what I will do is I will actually update it at every point in the loop, but I will check if counter 1 is greater than 2, then I will make the counter 1 as 0 again. So for the first time it will be 0, so 0 into 200 will be 200, and it will be getting updated to 1. So 1 into 200 will be 200, and after updating it to 2, 2 into 200 will be 400. But now after converting the 2 to 3, it will be greater and counter 1 will be 0 again. So for the fourth iteration, it will be 0 into 200 into 0. Okay, that's great. But now counter 2, initially it will be 0 and it is saying 0 for third iterations, and after the third iteration it is actually increased by 200. So what I will do is I will increment the counter 2 every third time. So whenever counter 2 is actually greater than 2, that means it has already converted into 0 because it has been greater than 3. So I will just make it plus equals 1, so that after every third iteration it is increased by 1. Okay, in this way we will get 200 in the third, fourth, fifth iteration, and 400 into sixth, seventh, eighth iteration. So totally it will be 9 squares. So now I will just comment this and I will try to run this because now we are drawing the rectangle with this loop, and let me run this. Yeah, we are getting the same output. So that was it. But now not only we are like drawing it, we want to store it all the squares in a sequence. So I will create a list, actually play code. I'll just create a list and I will append all of. So I'll just store this in a variable named s, and which is kind of representing a square, and then I will just append it to a playboard. Okay, this way we will be able to access these squares, that is rectangles we have drawn through this player board. And I think I will just return it since it is a function, and we will actually store it in playboard ascii. Okay, to playboard squares, and I will just hide this. Okay, so I think if we run this, we will be able to see our board. Now let's add the functionality of actually knowing which square has been clicked so that we can draw X or O on that location. Okay, this is very simple in PYGAME since we have already used the rectangles. So the only thing we have to check for is if event type is equal to PYGAME dot mouse button now. So basically it's checking if mouse has been pressed, then we are checking if that event dot position is in any location or not. Okay, event dot position gives the location of the event, okay, the coordinate of the event. So for that, we are first of all we'll run a loop for every square, like square index, square in our playboard square. Okay, but playboard square contains only the square, so we will just enumerate it so that we also get the square along with the index, so that we can print at which indexes our player want to draw. Okay, the after looping through every square, we are just checking if square dot collide point event dot cost. So if this event position is inside a particular square, if it's true, then we are printing our index. After printing the index, we will be able to know which is the square. Okay, now let me run this. If we are here, it's 0. If we are here, it's 1. If we are here, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's working perfect. Now in the upcoming video, we will draw X, O at these locations and also calculate the winner. So thank you for watching, and we will catch you up in the next video.